Hello everyone, welcome you all in our YouTube channel learning Radiology. Then start with this topic. So today we will discuss and the topic is speed and contrast. So in this topic we are discussing about X-ray film, type of film, characteristic, density, characteristic curves, latitude and contrast. On a topic X-ray film types and characteristic, we only cover little and not little content, because on the X-ray film we already covered in another video. So X-ray video of X-ray film are already published in our channel. You can check out my channel or find it. So today this is mainly for a basic brief and you can see my video till last, and also subscribe my channel because we upload daily in video on different topics. You can also comment and share, and also press bell icon for a latest update. Then start. So X-ray film is basically made up of a polyethylene or a polyurethane. It's a polyethylene sheet basically used in a radiology department, or it is also a photosensitive materials which is made up of AGBR, and which also help used for the recording of the information for radiographic images. When X-ray film is exposed to the light or X-ray radiation, film is on film latent images formed, or a formation of latent image occur. Film is mainly made up of a base, adhesive layer, emulsion layer and supercoat. These are the also called as a layers or a composition of the X-ray film or construction of X-ray film. X-ray film is in case of base, which it is made up of a polyester, polyethylene or a terephthalate. And in case of emulsion, it's a silver halide grains or a vehicle matrix. Base is a base layer or a transparent supporting materials made up of a transparent, it is transparent, or also help as a supporting materials made up of a polyester, polyethylene, terephthalate. It also provide the stronger with higher dimensional stability. Its function to provide support for the emulsion layer and to transmit light. Ideal properties or base. Ideal properties of base are like it's a flexible, thick and strong. In case of dimensional stability, it's a help to maintain size and a shape during processing, handling and storage. In case of adhesive layer, also called as substratum layer or subbing layer, it present between the base and the emulsion in the form of a thin coat. It also maintains the proper contact between emulsion and the base to provide integrity during the film processing. Emulsion is a layer of a radiographic film which consists of a gelatin and a silver halide crystals spread in the form of a uniform manner. In a typical emulsion, 90 to 99% is AGBR and about 1 to 10% AGI. Supercoat, also called as a overcoat or a top coat, it used for the reduces damage from scratches of the film and pressure or contamination during the storage, handling and the processing of the radiographic film. Types of X-ray film are screen films, non-screen films, mammography film, laser films. It is used in limb radiography or to detect intraocular foreign body, in dental with intraoral cardboard. Characteristic of X-ray film are like density, characteristic curves, speed, contrast, latitude. Density is basically called as a density mainly demonstrate, or also called as a difference in the degree of a blackening on the film, also known as a density. And the degree of blackness is directly related to the intensity of a radiation exposure. Its useful range of a density in diagnostic is 0.25 to 2.0. A characteristic curve of the film is it's of relation between radiation exposure and the optical density, and it is plotted as a curve or H and D curve. named after Harter and Driefield, who generated these curves in 1890. Means Driefield is a scientist, or a Harter and a Driefield, who basically generate these things in 1890. Then after we plot H and D curve. Parts of the characteristic curves are two straight line and a shoulder. Upper part is shoulder, middle part is straight line, and lower part is two. This curve also called as a sigmoid shape. This curve is also as a sigmoid shape. Parts of the characteristic curves. We also discuss. This is our toe part. This is our shoulder part. Top part is shoulder part. Base part is our toe part, and this is our straight line. And this is a difference in a radiation exposure and optical density. This is the optical density of a film, and this is a radiation exposure. And this is a straight line, and this is a toe. This is a diagram of our characteristic curves. Toe and shoulder. Low and high exposure level, where large changes in exposure resulting in a small change in optical density. Hence, if toe and shoulder, low and high exposure level, where changes in exposure level, where if changes in radiation, if these things will changes, then this small changes in optical density. If radiation exposure changes, then optical density also changes. Parts of the characteristic curves. Means we already tell about the optical have three parts. And a straight line or an intermediate area is where a very small change in exposure result in a large changes in the density. This is important part of the curve in the radiography, where properly exposed radiograph appear. Means here, means this area properly radiograph are appeared. Average gradient. Average gradient is a parameter which describes the contrast of the film, also called as a average gradient. Its value range from 2.5 to 3.5. Speed is the ability to receptor to low X-ray exposure, and it is sensitivity of the film to X-rays and the light. The size and shape of the silver halide crystal are main factors that determine the speed. Faster speed film are almost always double emulsion. Light spectrum from screen must match to achieve optimum speed. Speed of the film represents the amount of the radiation required to produce a radiograph of acceptable density. Faster speed film require, if a film have a fast speed, then require lesser radiation exposure. If film have a slow film then require more radiation exposure. Two type of film speed are used. First is absolute and second one is relative. Absolute speed is a reciprocal of the exposure in a Roentgen. That is required to produce a density of 1.0 above the base plug plus fog density, and also determined from the H and D, and it is used only in the performance evaluation. And the base plus fog level ranges from 0.1 to 0.25 optical density unit. Speed, relative speed, it is the measure compared with the standard film screen combination. For example, calcium tungstate screen means a film combination is called per speed and its given value is 100. High speed calcium tungstate has a speed of 200. Rare earth screen films combination ranges speed from 400, which is used in general radiography. Contrast is basically difference in the film density between two adjacent area in the radiograph. Contrast may be subject contrast and a film contrast. The produce of the subject contrast and the film contrast gives the radiographic contrast. High contrast is best for carriage detection. Low contrast is best for periapical evaluation. Contrast of the film depend on its latitude. Subject contrast is a difference in the X-ray intensity transmitted through different part of the body. Subject contrast depend on the patient thickness, high tissue mass density, effective atomic number, shape of the object and the photon. High kbp gives lower subject contrast, whereas the low kbp gives high subject contrast. Highest contrast is made up of homogeneous size of silver grains. Low contrast made up of heterogeneous grains. Double emulsion film produce greater contrast than single emulsion film. Fog and a scatter will reduce film contrast. Latitude it is a range of exposure level that will produce acceptable range of a density. Also called as a dynamic range, it varies inversely with the film contrast. It is inversely proportional to the contrast. And then the high contrast film has a low latitude. Medium contrast film have a medium latitude. Low contrast film have a high latitude. High contrast has a small uniform grains. Low contrast has larger grains and a wide range in size. Thank you. Like the video, comment on this video, subscribe the channel. Okay, we will meet in a next video. Till then, bye bye, take care, thank you.